hunkered into the whole fucking thing.
Lean in.
Yeah. I do lean in. It shows interest.
Right? Body language. I'm supposed to be towards you.
Yeah, and we are.
Engaged.
But it also looks weird when you just see like my man bun and the back of my head.
Yeah, can we talk about your man bun for a second?
Sure. Hold on. This is Artless Nap. My name is Anthony Pego and this is Brande Sanders, and I guess we're already starting the podcast.
Welcome to Artless Nap.
So my man bun, what do you want to know? You like it? Are you going to admire it?
How do you get past the man bun jokes?
Nobody makes them to my face.
Oh, so we're going to do that right now.
Sure. How many man bun jokes do you have?
Damn it, I don't have my dad jokes built up.
No, nobody ever,
Well, you're not... I don't know that you'd be classified as a hipster, so you might get away with it a little bit more.
I get called everything. Like, my family, portions of my family call me a hippie. Certain people that I meet think I'm a hippie. Certain people think I'm a hipster. Certain people think I'm, just an artist. There's hipsters, and certainly all of them do crafting and Pinterest, and they take a...
How's your Pinterest game?
It's really weak. I signed up for the account, and I looked at, I was out. I think I didn't... I still got an account going with some pins and stuff, but it's I was so disinterested, I didn't want to, delete the account or turn it off or whatever. So yeah, I'm not a Pinterester. I feel like I'm not facing you enough. Let's see if I can...
Let's engage.
All right. Yeah, here we go.
We only just met.
Yeah, we only just met. No, we know each other. So for people who are listening to this podcast, you came in earlier today, and you were talking with Lisa. Let me do this.
You can do
Del Call.
You should call it a Del phone.
Yeah, a Del phone.
Marge Simpson. Where did Marge Simpson come in?
No. It was Lisa.
Lisa Simpson.
Yeah, and she was great. We talked about LGBTQ.
See, then my joke didn't really stick.
What about mine?
Because I said blue hair.
Yeah, no, that was...
Simpson.
I know, I didn't make fun of you, though.
Well, you can now since I made fun of your man bun.
That's true. You don't even know the Simpsons characters? What's wrong with you? Making fun of my man bun.
It's this fruit juice.
You have exactly the same bun as I do. And
You're right.
I get the same little curls, although mine are a little tighter. They're like the Hasidic Jew,
I know, I thought about that, but I needed something to frame my face a little bit.
Mm-hmm. For the podcast.
You know what? Yeah. Here's the thing. Again, I have the voice for still photography.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Which is a brilliant joke.
Thank you. Does it make up for the Marge Simpson?
No.
Okay, well, shit.
Well, what's the thing?
So maybe you have the man bun and I have the female version of the man bun because we're both really fucking hungover right now.
The woman bun?
The woe bun?
The woe bun. Fem bun? Fem bun's pretty good.
I like that.
Although
okay, so here's the next question.
Yeah.
Can we start with patent?
Can we patent the
jokes?
Joke?
Yeah.
Can we patent jokes? So she had this joke, and I think we've cut it off. We will have edited it out for the beginning of the podcast.
What about me screaming?
We're leaving that in. That's the end of the previous one, part one. What's your joke again? Give the joke.
I have the voice for still photography.
Which is brilliant. And you're sure you made this up?
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure.
Well, it kind of goes, what is it? You have the face for radio.
Right.
So,
which I've heard.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard that.
I'm the opposite. I definitely have the face for still photography, but not the voice.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think you're doing just fine.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have you the sweaty balls thing? You want to give your best sweaty balls? Have you seen that back in the
sweaty ball with one of the Baldwins?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait until Christmas to bring the sweaty balls out. They're my favorite. It's my favorite time. They're larger than I expected. They're very salty. They're delicious.
Or what about the Colonel Cunnilingus?
Cunnilingus. You gotta do it with the southern draw, yeah. Cunnilingus. Because, Southerners mush mouth everything together.
So we just need to do our own version of Saturday Night Live, Sunday afternoon live.
I absolutely had a dream about being accepted onto the cast of Saturday Night Live. That was
you were dreaming.
No, I know I'm not that funny. But I literally had that dream. I woke up one day and I had that, when you wake up after a dream and you feel in love with that person still, it's totally totally fictional. It's like in your brain or whatever. I felt like the accreditation and the pride from being accepted into SNL.
Did you post it on your Facebook before
No.
you realized, oh shit, wait, that was a dream? Damn it.
Thank you all. No.
At first, I'd like to thank God.
Right. I don't know that would be the first thing that I would put like a fuck you to my 3rd grade teacher that stole my plastic ants. That shit was funny.
Fuck you. You're cool.
You're cool. Yeah. So you wanted to talk a bit about yourself. No.
Oh, I do?
Yeah,
no,
right.
Not really.
No, you're a narcissist, right? We came to that conclusion during the last.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah.
My kids say that all the time. Mom, it's not about you.
Uh-huh. But it is.
But it is.
Yeah, that's your world.
Right?
And you, by God, had those kids.
Yeah.
And they were entered into your world.
They should be thanking me right now.
At what point does it become their world? I mean, it was totally your world as you had a baby and everyone was like touching your belly without asking. And
well, the minute that they come into the world, it's not your world anymore. I mean, you walk into a room and they're like, oh, hey, the kids are here. And, oh, hey, yeah, hi.
Yeah, well, I know I don't have kids. I guess I have to preface this for the podcast and everything. So this is Uncle Tony coming out, You hear all the time, like, I guess not every father or mother does this because there's like postpartum depression and shit like that. And it lasts a little longer with dudes or whatever. They don't connect. The oxytocin thing doesn't happen immediately. There's a disconnect. There's like for some of them, they're like, I don't get it. This person's taking too much of my wife's time or whatever. But for most parents, it's the end of their life. They are like, this is all about you. I will protect you from this point. Do you have that? Do you have that, like, I will throw myself in front of a car. I will, tear apart monsters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually had that moment where I had to do that.
Yeah. Can we talk about it? No, we can't talk about that.
That'll be podcast number 2.
Yeah.
Or 3. How does that work?
We'll just podcast it and make it private so nobody can listen to it.
I know, right?
It's just up there for us to listen to. When we get older, we can reflect on it.
But no, I mean, I did have that scenario where that came into play, and it's real. It's real.
Did you get an adrenaline rush?
I still have it.
You still have the adrenaline rush.
Yeah,
you can
I still think about it.
Yeah,
I still think about it all the time.
So that's the Hulk thing. Like, gosh.
I could have lifted a car. Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde, I guess, would be.
Oh, I like it.
Or, doctors, of course. Like, look at me being all sexist. I'm like, doctor's a dude, though. What's the woman word for doctor?
You would have failed that that trivia about, like, oh, well, if you get in a car, somebody gets in a car accident and they say, I can't do surgery because that's my son, and everybody automatically assumes that it's a dude, and it's not.
Yep.
It's the mom.
Yeah, I didn't know that was one of those questions. I would have certainly...
I would go more into detail, but I already forgot the whole story, so...
Yeah, that's all right. So it's one of those, like, finding biases out and figuring out...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's cool. Do you do these tests with, like, people that you meet? Like, okay.
I don't test people.
Oh, no, wait. Let me give you... So, you might... I have this little test, and let me see if you have an analogy, like an analogous version of this for yourself.
All right.
So, on my table... out on the porch where we talk, like between podcasts and stuff like that, there are a couple old Pioneer toys. And one of them is like 2 horseshoes put together by a ring. And then you have another one, like another ring that like you have to like take off of it. So you have to fold it in certain ways and find out how to get the ring off.
Is that your test?
Well, this is what we decided. So, like, I told the landlord, like, she was like, what do you want for a welcoming gift, like, to, make the place feel warmer or whatever. It's like, what I miss from my childhood is, like, old Pioneer games. And so I was like, there's these...
Do you eat at Cracker Barrel?
That's where you buy them. I think she got them off Amazon. But yeah, That's, like, definitely where you can buy some. If anybody wants to know how to find these things, or, like, whatever. See, by the way, we're drinking hibiscus tea. As long as we're, like, pushing products. We'll get back to that in a minute. But, like, these... Okay, so you can go to Pioneer Pies and you can find these old Pioneer puzzles. I don't know if Pioneers actually did this.
You haven't vetted this?
No, well, my grandparents, like, were...
Were they pioneers?
Well, they weren't pioneers, but they were very, like... very down-to-earth people. And they lived in Arkansas kind of during their retirement and stuff. And, they moved to the middle of Arkansas, like middle of nowhere in Arkansas, like up in the mountains and stuff. And so you didn't really have, like... modern entertainment. Yeah. I mean, they had TV, but TV was like local shit and like nobody was doing, VHS was the new,
they
Betamax.
They watched Gunsmoke, didn't they?
They did watch like old cowboy stuff and all that. But old John Wayne movies and stuff. But they had like the little, like the triangle shaped puzzle where it was kind of like Chinese checkers, and you do this in 8 moves and remove all the pieces when you jump over them. And they had some of these like iron, like steel puzzles and stuff. So one of the most famous one is like they bend nails around in hoops, and you have to unlock the 2 nails from each other. So like they're hooped around each other, and you can only pull them apart if you angle them and, you know, put them in the right configuration. And you have to be able to put them back together is to show that you understand how you took them apart. Yeah. So okay. So the test is, though, it's for when people come over to my house that are questionable. So somebody's got like a Tinder date or, you know, whatever. They come to the front porch and they see these puzzles. Now, I don't push this on people. I don't go like,
yeah, you got to pass this.
What, you know, answer these questions 3. What is your favorite color? You know, I don't do this. Like, people just innately want to touch. It looks inviting. It looks like a puzzle. Your brain goes, that's weird. What the fuck is that? And you pick it up and you start to like try and solve it or whatever. That to me shows curiosity. Most of us have curiosity. Now, some people just don't pick it up. To me, that's a good sign. A bad sign. Like, it's like you're nervous. Like that. It's a very exact sign. I know what that means. If you're not comfortable enough to like pick up stuff and like touch, we either haven't made you feel at home, or there's something going on in your head that you don't feel relaxed enough to like investigate everything around here. If they actually like solve it, like to pull it apart and don't put it back together, or they can't, that's really telling. If they spend like a couple minutes and get frustrated and put it down, broken, that's red flag.
They don't give a shit?
That's red flag. Yeah. Well, they're embarrassed or they're too nervous, but it's still like red flag. Like, they can ask and be like, I don't know how to solve this. Like, and that happens all the time. Most people go like, how do you solve this? Or like, they'll just continue doing it. Now, it's a little rude. It's like playing on your cell phone to like 15 minutes, just try and solve this like fucking puzzle or whatever. But like, usually everybody starts talking about it and other people try it and stuff, and it'll come back to them. And they'll eventually like nine times, seriously, like 9 times out of 10 times, they'll figure out how to like put it back together. Doesn't mean they've memorized it. Point being, this is a really good way to kind of diagnose who's in my presence. If they're newly into my space, I've got like some sort of litmus test on how to, you know, ascertain what their like level of relaxation and concentration and patience.
You constantly invite strangers into your home.
Well, that happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people don't do that.
Really? You don't think most people do that?
No.
Really?
No.
Your experience is you put signs in the yard and you say, "Go away.
Get off my yard."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm very cautious.
No, not me. No, I invite people over. Well, I have been burgled. I've learned the difference between robberies and burglaries.
Because you invited them in, right?
Right. I've been burgled, I think 3 or 4 times now. I've had my doors kicked in and all of my shit stolen. Do you see a
correlation here?
Well, I'm not going to give up. These are things. And my life has become very much more interesting because of these events. I mean, I've met lots of interesting people, and I don't shut off my doors because bad things happen, you know? Like, I continue meeting people despite the bad things that happen. That's not going to scare me away. Is that something you, like... I mean, do you feel like you should have invited more people into your life? Or are you perfectly happy with like?
Well, so what I didn't get a chance to touch on in the first segment was when I introduced myself in the capacity of my involvement in the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
I say something along the lines of, I am very grateful that I have a gay kid.
Yeah.
Because, again, this comes, the narcissist part, because
right.
It's about me.
Right.
I have met so many people that I may have not had the opportunity to, that has changed my life in a positive way.
Good.
So you're right, you have to kind of be a little bit open to that.
Yeah.
And, it's a learning curve for me. It
is. It's hard. Moving from Oklahoma City, I went from Oklahoma City as a teen on my own to Austin, Texas, to New Orleans, to San Diego. I mean, I had girlfriends and I had friends and I had built up friendships and stuff. So there was a certain level of like comfort and community and stuff. But these are like, New Orleans is like a very dangerous city. And Austin, though it was hippie, was very conflicted and was a large city. You know, there was crime. Same thing with San Diego. Although it looks pristine and perfect, it's very large, and you don't really know everybody that you're running into.
And you've got people from all over the country going, I'm going to go live in San Diego
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
all tourist traps. I mean, they're places where people who, and because tourists are coming in,
So all
there's
these
thieves
tourist
and shit.
or not countries, cities that you've lived in, you come back to Oklahoma, that's not touristy
That's actually
at all.
the only place I've been burgled. I have never been robbed or burgled in any. I was chased down in New Orleans in the middle of the night, though. I mean, it was like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, and I literally had to run from this dude and jump into like a security car that was patrolling the neighborhood and be driven to my house. Yeah, but no loss, no pain, no, I avoided it. I was smart enough. Like, I was aware.
Got your cardio in.
I got my what in? Cardio? I got my
Cardio.
cardio in.
Yeah.
Very rarely these days. But, yeah, Oklahoma, it was strange. Like, those cities are, like, very, they're places that I think of tourists going to and having problems where you get robbed because you're a tourist. And, like, we heard those issues happening all the time. It was constantly, like, don't go down to the French Quarter and, like, stand in front of the kids who are tap dancing because people watch for that. If that's a magical new thing, they know you're a tourist.
Especially if you have the camera.
Yeah, the camera.
Or now the $600, $800 iPhone.
Right. Well, and if, like, the way I do the camera thing is I try to hide them and make them small enough that I can fit them in my pockets. And if I have a larger one, I try to look like press. I know it's weird and it doesn't really make much sense.
Do you have a press pass? That you
and I've worn kind of fake press passes. Yeah, I've made my own lanyard with like Boo Science, like whatever, just so it looks like I'm in an official capacity.
Yeah.
And, you're going to definitely get in trouble. And there's probably other people around here dealing with me, like on my staff or, watching our shit or whatever. And it's generally protected me. So you kind of fake it till you make it. Like, you're aware and you know how to present yourself. That's like the difference in my mind. It apparently, like, when I let my guard down when I came back to Oklahoma City and just became nothing but a friend, nothing but somebody inviting people into my home, that's when I got, burgled. Burgled.
Is it burgled or burglared?
Burgled. I know it's really weird, but burgled, yeah. That's why, I'd never heard people say, like, I've been burgled. You don't really hear people say that.
It doesn't feel right.
You say, I've been robbed, right? That's what I, heard. But, like, robbed is, like, with a gun or a knife. When you're forced, like, by, threat by somebody. But I wasn't even there. So me not being there means I'm burgled. If I was there and under duress allowed them to steal my shit, I've been robbed. But I was burgled because I wasn't there. So, yeah, come back to Oklahoma City, let my guard down, introduce people, or I just, maybe I move.
Do you have people that you're like, that might have been that person? Or that person?
Yeah, in one case, but it wasn't somebody I knew. It was people from down the street, and I had a party, and I remember some people from down the street saying, hey, what's going on? Can we come and hang out? And I invited them in and let them, have drinks, like sit down, and we played music. It was like very hippie-ish. We like sit down and we sat down and played.
Hippies would never burgled
right. Well,
somebody.
they weren't hippies. Yeah, no, but they, like wandered in and out and talked to people and stuff. And upon reflection, was probably not the best idea to invite them in and say it's fine. Should have said this is for invited guests, and that's pretty standard. To say, who are you again?
Well, but then you again, they're neighbors. Like, those should be people that you should trust and know.
Right. Well, the neighborhood was a block by block scenario, but the world is becoming like that.
Yeah.
The world is becoming block by block. Homes some are dilapidated, some are renovated, and neighborhoods are coming up. So they're coming up in less cared for traditionally neighborhoods, and that's where you get the cheaper property and. There's not already established businesses there. You want to be in a market where there's no competition, so you put them where there was nothing before. And then you run the risk of, being a victim of the crime that's based on, the lower income, the dilapidated neighborhoods have certain needs. There are people who have genuine needs, be it drug addiction or just poverty or, crime is crime. Some people are assholes and just cause crime.
Maybe they were kleptos. Maybe they didn't have any issues.
No,
at
this
all.
this was way beyond kleptos. I mean, somebody had cased this place out.
I had a party once and somebody stole my remote control.
I'm sure that happens all the time. I don't have memorization of everything in my house. I shouldn't be saying this because now people are going to steal shit from my house all the time.
He lives on the south side of Oklahoma City.
Right. I would not remember if somebody stole, like, you know, a lighter or a little box or you know, the hardest thing for me to remember are like I will reflect 5 years down the line and go, that fucking hoodie is gone. It's been gone for years. And like,
and see, you don't have kids. See,
no.
I have that issue, but I have kids. Like, where is my Goonies t-shirt?
Right?
Don't know to this day.
No, and
but
maybe one of their girlfriends
know.
or boyfriends, some friend.
I
like,
know.
You know who got rid of it, who lost it or whatever?
I think it was the older one.
Uh-oh. Yeah. You're not going to let them listen to the podcast then, right? Like the little...
Oh, no. I'm watching you.
Okay, do girls have this problem? Do guys steal shit from girls? But it wouldn't be clothing, right?
No, I have about 16 t-shirts that I had from a previous relationship, and I don't feel bad about. Well, I do feel a little bad.
Okay, do girls do this because they feel entitled to the clothing?
No, we just like their shit, man. It's comfy.
I just like it.
Smells
that's
good.
That's the reasoning of a criminal. I just like that. There's that commercial where he's like, "This couch will go so well in my living room or whatever." You know, like it's nice. I like it. I like it.
I want it.
Right, I want it. So you're explaining away why girls steal.
I don't know why girls do a lot of stuff, but for me, it was always just, it's comfortable.
Uh-huh.
It smells good.
Uh-huh.
We don't go shopping in the men's section, so we don't have an idea. We're like, where's all this cool shit coming from?
That's not an excuse. I think that that
be.
the excuse what you're telling me is this is like more like lizard brain shit where like you're like it's the smell, the pheromones, the comfort, the softness, it's worn in, it's already got good association to it, like so.
And then we get mad and we burn that shit.
I just can't even I can't express the amount of anger. I mean it's I'm laughing a little bit on the inside because I know some of us deserve the burning of our shit, the cleansing process.
Has anybody ever sent you a video like, hey, remember that?
Are you kidding
Get
me?
it.
Videos? That's not, no. I've only once seen somebody throwing shit out a window, and it was at the boyfriend. It was like the stereotypical out of a movie here in the plaza, and like right by Saints. And there was this girl, and she was just throwing shit out of the window of the second story down to the dude and yelling at him. I couldn't understand what the fuck. I'm deaf, by the way, but like I couldn't understand what the fuck they were talking about. But she really fucking meant it. That's the only thing I've ever seen.
I feel like if there was the availability of technology in my 20s, I probably would have sent a video. In my 40s, no.
Yeah, you're a little bigger than that now.
Just a scoop.
What's the ugliest thing you would send a video for now? Like it's not happened yet, right? So let's like just
Or has it?
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
Make up some scenario. Where would you it necessitates you making a video and sending it?
It'd have to be pretty big.
Yeah. So like if they fucked up your car, if they like carved something on the side of your door, and then you were like, "Oh, it's on," would you do that?
No, I
You'd
think
just
it'd
call
have
the
to be bigger
cops.
than that.
You'd let the law deal with that, or you'd eat it through insurance.
I'd probably eat it.
You'd eat it. I'm that way too.
Yeah.
Are you not confrontational? I'm not.
So here's my character flaw,
Yeah.
besides being a narcissist. I will eat shit until I don't. And then it's really bad.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've had all the conversations in my head in the shower. You know, I've argued the points over and over.
And you have the best retort when they're nowhere to be found.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, but I do that before I break loose. And when I break loose, I let it's got to sound like insanity. I give them all the points. I'm like, and this is, you did, and they're like, what
on October 23rd, 1999, this is what you did.
See, and it's got to be like, we probably need to go to some therapy or like learn some coping, like learn how to release anger in a more positive manner towards people ahead of time so that we don't just build up
being confrontational is not a bad thing.
Right. I agree with that.
I just don't know how to do it in a healthy way.
I know. I can't either.
Like, you hurt my feelings the other day. Like, I don't do that.
I just, you know what it is?
I just eat it. I eat shit a lot. I eat that shit sandwich all the fucking time.
Me too. I know where the problem lies for me. I don't know if it's the same for you. But I know that, like, I feel like I have things under control, and I've already, like, set myself up to be calm, and I go, like, okay, we're going to have this adult conversation, and I'm going to bring up these points, and I'm going to be salient and concise.
And then you tuck that tail right on you?
No. I'll start the conversation. This is why I avoid it. Because I'll start the conversation, and then they'll go, yeah, but you. And the second I hear, it's like the eyes turn red, the fire goes out the top of the head and through the ears.
Through the man bun.
Yeah, the man bun lights on fire, and it's just a flame coming up. Yeah. I just, like, it's not that I can't control myself, because I certainly can, but there's that part of my personality that becomes cutting and mean. And I'm not mean in like the worst way. Like, I can get
really mean.
Well,
it only happens like once or twice.
Do you immediately jump to the meanest you can be? Yeah. See, you can control I'm at the break.
When I get to that breaking point, then there's no filter. There's just nothing left but.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say rage. So, I wanted to ask your listeners.
Yeah.
Is it listeners or
followers?
Yeah,
nappers.
Nappers.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as a rage boner?
Oh, all right, Artless Nap. You can email us at artlessnap@gmail.com. Is there such a thing as a rage boner?
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, totally asking for a friend. I told her that I personally don't have experience with, like, a rage boner, but, we started talking about training men, and can you make a man have a rage boner? And I said, surely. I mean, this is Pavlovian. You can encourage a man through communication to have certain styles of, what is categorized as BDSM sex or whatever, and have safe words so that this doesn't go too far or whatever. And, like, have him...
So this is the opposite of that.
Don't have him... I'm just saying we can get to the point where there is a rage boner artificially. So
I want to know if there's, like, an
actual natural...
Like, have you ever been so mad you're like, oh, what's happening?
Why is my dick hard? Because I really get turned on by arguing with somebody. There is no part of arguing that makes me... That is the quickest way to get me not to want to have sex. You don't have to, like, tell me I'm tired, I have a headache. Just pick a fight with me. Just be like, well... But first, yes, I'd love to fucking suck your dick. But, like, did you do the dishes? All of a sudden, I'll be like, nope, never mind.
So if you were to make any person in the world, if you were to make a guess on who successfully can get a rage boner, who would it be?
Oh, Nicolas Cage. Yeah.
You're on Nicolas Cage this week. This jacket had emotional attachment.
I'm just angry.
I really
at Nicolas
wanted that
Cage.
jacket.
I really did. I know it wouldn't fit. Here's the worst part. I wouldn't fit in this jacket now. Like, I know I wouldn't. So, like, the anger is for naught. There's no reason for me to hold this anger. However...
But see, here's the thing. It wouldn't have mattered, because at some point there would have been a girlfriend that would have stole that jacket from you.
That's right. That jacket would have been gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Well, at least I would have had that experience and that choice, and would have had that anger owned by something of my own volition. I literally put, for people who are listening and don't know, I put a deposit down on a leather jacket in a leather shop. It was kind of a leather / it was mostly BDSM. I know you're all getting the idea. I've always been this kind of, like, BDSM guy. I'm not. Or I am now. I enjoyed the scene. But I was not that back then. I was just a curious guy and I loved leather. I loved tools. I was curious about sex. I checked out all the sex shops. I wanted to see what the hell New Orleans was about.
Well, and you were probably in a pretty good environment for that.
Yeah, I was. And so I walked in this leather shop, or this, like, toy / leather shop, and there was this amazing jacket. I checked all the jackets out, the chaps, checked all the assless chaps. I was like, how? Why? But, I settled on this jacket that had this hand-painted kind of tattooish type thing on the back side of it. And I put down I think it was like $100, which, like, for me was like a fortune back then. And it was like $600 or $800 or something. This is back in the early 2000s. And I put down the deposit, and I come back a few days later to put down another $100 or whatever. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. Nicolas Cage came in and bought that jacket for Lisa Marie Presley." And it totally sounds like a bullshit thing unless you live in New Orleans and you know that this shit... happens all the time. And when is Nicolas Cage going to be back? He's not going to like be like, well, if the guy doesn't buy it, you know, let me know and I'll come and pick it up. No, he's going to be like, but
here you go.
I'm Nicolas Cage. I've got to save the Declaration. I've got to steal the Declaration of Independence. And I need this
in this jacket.
Yeah. So that's my rage story.
So let's think about this for a second. That jacket may have been cursed.
Yeah. That because he got divorced. They got married, right? So they dated right when I was in New Orleans trying to buy this jacket, and then they got married for like 2 years or something like that. And then she doesn't care about him anymore.
Do you think when they got divorced, he was like, I want that jacket back?
I doubt it. Look, I looked up, I was trying to find the jacket on Google Images and stuff. I went through all of the Lisa Marie Presley pictures I could fucking
She didn't wear that shit one time.
I think I found it on one, like, silly, shitty, like, photo shoot thing for a promo for a crappy whatever, for an album or for a movie, or just because she was attending some conference or something. Yeah. And it's only the front, so I couldn't see the back, but it looks exactly like the front of the jacket that I
got robbed.
Yeah.
You didn't get
She doesn't give a shit. I didn't get burglared by Lisa Marie Presley. But she wears so many leather jackets.
She does like her leather.
It's
You're right.
An incredible amount. Well, Elvis was her dad, so that's kind of understandable. Although most of the stuff he wore was
my dad wore cargo shorts, and I don't wear that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, your dad, did he sell as many albums and woo as many women as Elvis Presley?
Probably not.
Yeah. She looks exactly like... If you look exactly like your parent, don't you think you take on a little bit of your parents' kind of perceived persona? Not necessarily who they really are, but like who people think they are.
Maybe,
kind of
maybe.
like... You got a little bit of that...
Does Nicolas Cage have kids?
I hope not. I shouldn't say that. Nicholas, feel free to send me hate mail and I will read it online.
Where's that jacket?
Hey, you know what? If she gave you that jacket back, I will buy it from you. I already put $100 down on it.
I know. So with depreciation, you owe Tego here
Nicolas Cage,
$300.
artlessnap@gmail.com, and we will get this jacket situation taken care of. I love you.
Valley Girl really is one of my favorite movies, though.
Is it? No.
That's not a lie.
I seriously can't wait to see Nicolas Cage redo a kind of Saving America, the important documents of America.
Thought it was a worm again.
Really? You're going to freak out about bugs again? I can't wait to see Nicolas Cage bring forward another movie about saving America's documents because Donald Trump is going to burn them in a fit of rage when he's being impeached or removed from the office. And Nicolas Cage, we've got to steal the Constitution because the orange beast...
Is that your Nicolas Cage voice?
Yeah, I don't have... Yeah, I'm not a great...
You need to practice.
I will go practice while we go hit the bathroom up and chat on the porch a little bit.
Because this hibiscus tea is going right
It
for me.
is delicious. This is Artless Nap. We will be right back.
Drinking from the sand. Never say a thing about where you're from. Never try to keep.
Welcome back to Artless Nap. I am Anthony Pago, and this is
Brande Sanders.
Genghis Khan. So, you've been here in Oklahoma City for how long?
So I'm 29 years old. You're not going to say anything about it.
So 29 seems like a perfect age for...
So I'm 40-ish.
Okay.
Ish. And I've been here about 98% of my life.
What's the
So
2%?
I'm an Okie. I was born in California.
Okay.
Long Beach.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember Long Beach?
Not at all.
Nothing?
Nope.
Do you watch, like, movies or anything like that? Isn't Long Beach where, skating, like, skateboarding came from? Wasn't that where...
Yeah, that's Venice
Dogtown?
Beach. Venice
Dogtown's
Beach.
Venice? Okay.
Venice.
Sorry, skateboarders. Don't send me a hate mail or anything like that. So you haven't gone
I'm sure
back?
there's some skating in Long Beach.
Certainly. There's
Probably.
Yeah, I'm positive there is. Yeah. So you haven't gone back to see what it's like? Nothing?
I did probably about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Great place to visit.
Okay. Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
great place to visit, like, is like the connotation for like Oklahoma City, but it's like not at all.
No,
that
that's.
place.
I feel like Oklahoma City is the opposite.
Yeah. Okay. Why?
Oklahoma City is a great place to live. I don't know that it'd be a great place to visit.
Oh, see, I've never. Okay. No. Okay, I get that. Yeah, I like. So we do Airbnb in like the front of this property or whatever, and like the people who visit like have a genuinely good time, and I love meeting people. From,
it's a great place.
It's amazing, but I do.
But you don't like sit down with your family and say, "So what do you want to do this year?" Let's go to Oklahoma City.
Right, got to see it.
Let's let's go to the bombing memorial.
Oof, that's really dark. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
But
Six
what
Flags
are
is,
we
like,
known
kind of-
for?
Right. Well, I guess the cow balls, the calf fries down at Cattleman's, and
So here's the thing about that. Anytime somebody comes to visit me, I try to get them to eat cow balls. Sweaty balls.
sweaty balls.
There it is.
There it is. We brought it back.
And I can get about 50% of people to try it.
Really? Yeah, I had to like metaphorically and literally like swallow the challenge, you know, and I tried it. 'Cause
So you took the ball challenge.
I did, and
So when you come to Oklahoma City, I feel like that's going to be a requirement from now on.
yeah. Here's what I'd recommend. If you generally are happy, like if you need a drink to kind of like wash your palate, even if you are eating foods you enjoy, get something a little stiffer. If you're good, to me it was like the texture was the problem. It was like,
Or was it just your brain saying,
No.
I'm eating balls?
no, I'm good. Like I'm very I'm very, what's the word? Textual. Like my taste, my preferences for foods relies heavily on texture and acidity. There was no acidity because it was like fried. It was like meat. It was like eating, you know, any other kind of like meat product or something.
It's not gristly.
No, it was like it was almost like, okay, so here's an analogy, but it's not the way it is. It's just an analogy. Have you ever had like sausage that's like way too fatty and it puts this like coating in your mouth, and so like it's hard to enjoy.
You had
No,
ball
it wasn't ball
coating
coating.
in your mouth.
No, yeah, I had ball coating all over on the inside and on my lips, and yeah, I'm very messy. No, it was like a weird velvety. It wasn't granular, but it was like too. Okay, so you know, like honeycombs have a pattern and stuff. It was too patterny. It was like too perfectly patterny, and
So you didn't like the geometric taste of
how
cow
it broke
balls
apart.
or lamb. Is it lamb or cow?
Well, I had the lamb.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure I should go back for the challenge. Maybe we can podcast the whole
The ball challenge.
from the bull test.
I think there's festivals
Are there?
that yeah.
I've done the rattlesnake. The rattlesnake was kind of disappointing. I went down to Mangum, I think is the name of the city, down in southwest Oklahoma, and it's like the tiniest town ever, where like there's one bar and everybody definitely knows each other, and it's way too small. You're like you can tell how many people.
Did the record scratch when you walk in?
Basically, but it was like country music, and it was it was a jukebox, but it managed to scratch when I walked in as well. Yeah. No, they were delightful, and it was interesting to see like beers for like, you know, $2.75 or whatever, not special. Like it was just $2.75.
Was it Coors?
It was like everything. It was like, you know, Bud Original and, you know, Bud Light and all that crap, and it was all there. I think what they didn't have was like the Hams hipster beers and stuff like that. You know, that was like fancy to them or whatever. No disrespect.
I'll drink some Hams.
I enjoyed
I'm
your
not
town,
scared.
but we had a great time at the festival, and I sold a lot of necklaces and stuff. But man, like when I ate that rattlesnake meat, it was like maybe I got like a poor selection or something. It was just like very little meat, a lot of
very
work.
rubbery.
Well, there was rubbery and it was bony. It was just like not very enjoyable. There was like a weird.
Do rattlesnakes have bones?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, the cartilage type stuff. You know, there's like this spinal.
So you don't eat
shit.
catfish either?
No, I've eaten catfish, but you know, like as a kid, it kind of freaked me out when you'd cut their heads off and they'd squawk, they'd make noises and stuff. We fried.
Kind of the Silence of the Lambs type.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So like I know it's a bottom feeder. It's dirty. I got that kind of like I've kind of turned off. I'm turned off of tilapia because I've seen
Because
like
of the shit.
Yeah, well, they like will grow them in barrels and shit, and like they're very contained and just like breathe and ingest their
Shit.
feces. Yeah, their own feces. Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever ate?
Like weird. Like weird to other people or weird to me. I think the thing that was hardest to get used to, but it was so delicious, was the roe, like the egg the fish eggs on top of sushi. Like, nobody told me that was what it was the first few times. It was just kind of these decorative bursting bubbles on the top, and I had no problem with it.
Delicious.
But the second one I got was like bigger, blacker ones, like almost like caviar or something. And I was like, what is that? And they were like, yeah, they're fish eggs. It's right there on the menu. And from that point forward, it took me a couple months, maybe a year, to get back into like, that was so enjoyable the first time. It was so good. Like,
It's been ruined.
It's been ruined with a T.
Ruined.
We talked about the accents. Let's do your heaviest Oklahoma accent, because we're from Oklahoma.
I have family in Detroit, and I have a nephew that's very curious about culture and lifestyle here in Oklahoma. And he says, "Well, what's the most favorite thing you say as an Okie?"
Yeah.
And I broke out the Okie and I said, "Is a frog's butt watertight?"
Oh my God, yeah, I've heard that a couple times. I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
See, I don't know. Who knows these things? Nobody knows.
Who knows?
I
don't know.
There is no way to know, really.
There's not really.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, especially with a frog's
Oh,
butt.
bless him.
Bless that frog's butt. Bless everybody's butt. We don't want to exclude anybody's butt.
And he did ask me, "Is there a McDonald's in your land?"
Oh, yeah, in your land.
In your land.
Oh, man. You know what? That might not be such a weird phrasing. There's a case that's going on with a murder that happened, like, on some tribal lands, and it's going to court right now. Like, it's being decided right now.
Tribal court or, like...
No, in federal court. Because the guy has brought up some, like, his attorney has brought up some, like, this was, like, on, tribal land and da-da-da-da. So they're having to bring up some old documents that heavily influence the changeover from this being Native American land, native territory, to being a state. And so theoretically, now I promise you, the country's not, like, the federal judges are not going to let this turn back into half Indian territory again. But literally, this case,
but maybe it should.
I mean, but this case says, theoretically, we natives could reclaim a lot of this land based on this one court case that's going into federal court.
I'm excited.
Right now. Yeah, well, you know how that's going to go.
Well, right. One can hope.
Damn the man.
I mean, unless my house is on that land,
right?
Right.
No, because then you get to buy, like, because natives can, like, have weed and stuff on their tribal reservations. All of a sudden, you
weed or peyote.
Weed.
As a Native American, have you ever done peyote?
No, I've never done peyote. Not at all. No. I've wondered what it was like. The closest I've come to taking peyote was watching this movie that has...
Was it Young Guns 2?
No. It was this French movie. I think the English translation was like Obscured by Clouds. Or maybe that's just the name of the Pink Floyd album. But it's this totally hippie movie where there's, like, naked people in foreign countries and, like, this rainforest, and they show a tribe beating a pig to death and cooking it. And
it sounds like a great movie.
They're looking for these, like, feathers that only exist on this one bird in this really obscure mountainous, like, range that's unmapped by humanity. And they're like...
So this isn't on Netflix, I'm guessing.
No, this is a really hard to find movie. But the whole soundtrack, the whole thing is done by Pink Floyd. And in one of the scenes, they go... it's got to be in South America. They go and take, like, I can't remember... it starts with an H, I think. But it's, like, one of the strongest hallucinogen, natural, plant-based hallucinogens
Is it
ever.
when you lick the frog's butt?
No, that's, like, supposedly really nice. But, no, it's like they take this root and they, like, chop the root tree. It's like a root from a tree, and they drip it into a cup, and I think they might boil it down or something. But you drink it, and you throw up like any other really fucking super strong, like peyote. And the trip is supposed to be, like, the strongest that you can have outside of, like, the artificial.
That's a hard no for me.
Yeah, me too. But watching that movie was, like, exactly like that. It was a trip, as a kid especially, to watch this movie where it's not, like, narrative. It's not, like, it's not character development. You don't find, somebody going through trials and tribulations and talking to people and talking to themselves and coming upon realizations, and it's not like that. It's like it's like a documentary. It's really strange. And they show, like, literally they show a pig being murdered, and they show them, I don't know if they were really tripping, but, like, I
like how you
believe
point
it.
out that the pig's murdered, not killed, murdered.
Well, okay. I'm starting to empathize with animals. I'm starting to go the way of, like, eating less and less meat. Now, like, it's not really, like, I'm fine with, like, farming and I'm fine with meat eating and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some part of my brain that's kind of like tweaking and going like, do I really need to be eating as much as I do? Like if everybody reduced their demand a little bit, we don't need as much protein as we eat. Like we should really be getting proper proportions.
I just had this conversation with my oldest daughter. She went vegetarian for about 4 months, but she's like, I really kind of feel like I need to eat meat, and I'm going to feel guilty about it. Mm-hmm. And that's the exact same conversation I had with her. Like, well, if you can just cut down, you're still making somewhat of an impact.
Yeah, it's like a huge impact. Yeah, and I know that those grocery stores will always be stocked up to that point, but the idea is if you spread these ideas, then if everybody's consuming slightly less, then those markets' demand will be less and they will order less of that meat. Surely some markets will struggle and like some farmers and hunters and stuff will sell less of their product, but that's kind of...
Is that your Utopia?
Is that my Utopia?
Utopia?
As a kid, like I thought my Utopia would be...
Did you see that Okie get out? Utopia.
Utopia? No.
Utopia?
What is that?
No, I said it wrong because the hibiscus tea.
Oh, the Okie came out, so you used your accent. Utopia.
Utopia.
All right. So as a kid, like I thought, and I say as a kid, like all the way through my 20s and stuff, I had this idea, and it's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. But I was not quite, your prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed till your late 20s, and I am not a bright man anyway. So I always wanted like a mile block or something to be a kind of hunting range so that people appreciate and only use what they need.
So if you had to kill, maybe you would eat less.
Right. And like you would only have to spend as much, like if they process the whole deer and you only wanted like a couple pounds of it, then you're essentially selling that back to, there's a processing center on, but you have to like, you can opt in to like clean it and stuff like that, or just pay them, whatever, like bunnies, like, whatever the hell it is, like pigs, especially. Yeah, I don't know that you'd want to like raise wild boar in the middle of a month. See, I didn't think this thing's out, but my whole point was like, what if you actually got to participate in the killing of this thing so
then
that you
wouldn't
understood.
Eat it. Like a majority of the people would just be like, no, I don't need it. It's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they would find...
If I had to kill what I ate...
There would just be black...
Unless I was starving, unless the zombies came and then it's like, I gotta eat this squirrel.
You just wouldn't do it. No, there'd be black markets. Like, you would have it would be slightly more expensive. It'd be like going to, like... If McDonald's were, like, on the corner, except more... Like, well, I guess just, like, buying weed in a state where weed's illegal. It's a little more expensive, but it's there. And you just kind of have to, like, talk to a guy who knows a guy.
What you're saying is it's a terrible idea.
It is a terrible, horrible idea. But I didn't think through that would be the only thing. It wasn't like, this is the only way you can get meat. It was just like, wouldn't it be cool if you had a better way?
I feel like this is a young adult novel that you're developing here.
Sure. I guess the kid who spends all of his rich dad dies and gets all the money and spends it on these urban hunting farms and loses all of his money and becomes destitute. But then
you've got to you've got to put the...
Right.
You got to lick the blood, put it on your face, and all that weird shit that hunters
I was just saying, like the urban kids, I promise you could find a few the people in rural areas who are like,
could you hire somebody to come? Like, hey, I'll give you $50 to go.
Like proxy somebody to kill your shit. Yeah, that's what everybody's gonna do. Everybody would just be like, go give me some. Yeah, made.
And then there's that one guy that's like, I'll go kill some shit.
Well, that's when you got to watch out. Like your third son is like, can I go murder somebody? He just wants to go for sport. He's like, I give the meat away to the neighbors. You're like, why are you hunting so much?
None of your beeswax.
Right. He's in the bathroom, but instead of masturbating, he's just like sharpening his tools. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm washing my hair. Shh. Yeah, let's be honest. That stuff exists anyway. There's already people like that.
Yeah, they become serial killers.
Yeah, that's true.
So, one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like my impulse issue. On a scale of 1 to 10, how impulsive are you?
10 being like you just lash out at any comment, and 1 being like you think for a few seconds before you
or
say
you don't
something.
Think at all. Well, 10 being you don't think at all.
Yeah, 10 being you don't think at all. I guess like maybe a 4 to you can get me up to like a 7 or an 8. I think I start off at 4. There's certainly like some knee-jerk reactions in my life where like I just see red.
Is that an innate feeling, or is that just bad brain development?
Yeah, I guess it's bad brain development because there's like it always starts off with like a firestorm of phrases that start with "but" in the beginning of them, like, but that's not true because I read this article, but that's not true
On
because
NPR.
I remember that night clearly, and that's not at all what fucking happened, you know? There's always buts, like, going through my brain. There's a million of them, and I organize them by which is the most, like, impactful, true, concise, explainable,
You have butt on the brain a lot.
I
Is what
do
you're
have
saying.
butt on the brain
Yeah.
a whole lot. Yeah, I guess, like, yeah, I'm argumentative. I'm never on the low end, like 1 or 2. I can be calm, for sure, but all that stuff is rattling around in my head. I'm never, like, sitting back just going, God, I love that I've taken up yoga and Zen, you know, meditation, and I'm just calm now. That's not part of who I am at all. What about you? What's your inclination for arguments or whatever?
Well, again, I'm not necessarily confrontational, but I am impulsive, and that's something that I'm kind of working on. Because as soon as something comes out of my mouth or an action I make, I'm like, should I thought about that a little bit longer? Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my level of comfort really dictates your chemical balance. Like whether I'm like stressed out or haven't eaten or I've had a
When you
hard
get
few
hangry?
days. Hangry is a big deal.
It's a real thing.
No
It
sleep.
really is.
No sleep is the best way to get me to be very impulsive. So if I'm without, you know, dreams, I guess.
So environmental. To an extent.
No, that's internal. I mean, environment is definitely what sets it off, but it's there. It's like Mousetrap the game. It's all set up, ready to go, and like just a million things are going to happen. It's already, I mean, it's pre-planned. Like, you know, 100 different responses.
We really are just living in the mousetrap.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, is that what you call the universe? It's the
I am going to now.
the mousetrap. Yeah, but mice, like, we're the rat trap. Mice are kind of dumb. They're kind of mean. They're kind of dumb. They're very like, well, maybe that's to your point. They're very instinctive, and rats are a little more thoughtful and emotional.
So we want to be rats, not mice.
We want to be rats. They're actually like highly trainable, highly intelligent. They like laugh when you tickle them and stuff. They're incredible beings. Yeah, I think rats and dogs are the two creatures I would want to have by my side, like as confidants, and no other animal at this age. Like cats, I would love if they didn't have that urea smell in there. God damn, that litter box. That is awful shit. I just don't, yeah. That's like...
What is this house missing? Oh, a box of shit.
You want to see impulse? Is if I am on a date and I
buy a cat?
No. Yeah, right? Let's buy a cat. No, yeah, I'm out of that. No, if I am on a date and I walk in, like, pick up a girl and I smell a cat box through the door when they open it, that date's over.
Oh.
It's over right then and there. Because I just, like, I know it's like, I'm an asshole, I'm a dick, I know, I get it. I just, like, there are too many examples of me dating cat women, girls who are psychotic. And I think part of it is not their fault. I'm going to go... Now, look, I'm not saying every cat woman. Okay. I know I'm going to piss off a whole lot of Artless snappers.
Right?
I know. I'm going to dig a deeper hole.
That's artlessnap@gmail.com.
Are you familiar with like there's like I think it's like a parasite like the
Oh yeah, it's you basically turn into a zombie, right?
Well, that's how those parasites work. Like in like
they control the host.
Yeah, right.
And cats carry this, right?
Yes, and humans are susceptible to it, and so.
So like, how many people out there walking have this parasite?
We can look this up right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, where's my phone? Why don't you tell? You said that you like cats or dogs? We're gonna have to ask you that question at some point.
Well, I'm a dog person.
You're a dog person.
Yeah.
So tell me why you didn't pick cats, and I'll find my phone to look this up real quick.
I've had cats before.
You've had cats.
And changing the kitty litter is not fun.
Right.
So, I mean, there's something to be said about that. I don't know. Maybe I was just born this way, Pego.
You were born that way.
I was born this way.
Why dogs? What do you love about dogs? Dogs are like the best thing ever. I fucking love dogs. What do you love about dogs?
A dog has been my friend when nobody else was. Even if it was just for that moment or for a short period of time or whatever. They're loyal to you to a T.
Yeah. You were going to say fault because they often get abused and
I second-guessed myself on that. I did.
Those of us who love them do not abuse them.
Right.
Right. They are so loving. It's like when you accidentally piss off a child, it's like you didn't mean to, and you know it's destroying them for like those moments that they remember. But they are like a child, where their memories are like so
Again,
short.
they're perpetual toddlers.
Yeah. So we're gonna look up how many people had toxoplasmosis.
Oh, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, toxoplasmosis. So I wonder if like that's like a quickly researchable thing. It looks like 40 million people. Oh my God.
Shut up.
Are you kidding me? 40 million people have toxoplasmosis.
Do United
in the United
States.
States.
Oh,
That's
in the United States?
Yes. That's a lot. So I've dated a lot of people who I'm like, and I'm probably just like, here's the deal. I'm not blaming myself, and I should be. I'm picking the wrong. Well, I've got a great girlfriend.
Is your picker
now.
broken?
Yeah, it is. It's broken. I've got a great girlfriend now. I love her, and she definitely does not have toxoplasmosis or whatever the hell yeah, right. But like I am instead blaming like my inability to pick, dates. Right? These are just dates or whatever.
Right.
Like, and I'm going ahead and I'm picking something outside of myself, like Trump does every day. But it's all like, well. If the whole economy collapses, it's because of y'all, not because of me, because you voted Democrat. Too many of y'all voted Democrats. So
There's
like,
no collusion.
I'm picking like toxoplasmosis. I'm giving an out to these people. I'm like, like you.
I don't want toxoplasmosis, so we can't be friends.
I'm just gonna have to have like a litmus test strip and like have them lick it.
Just bring your puzzle outside and like, can your cat do this? Nope, sorry. Done.
Give it to the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I got to see how they interact with my dog. I think that's the piece for me, is if my dog loves them.
Do you vet people through your dog?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. If my dog doesn't like somebody, it's always worked out. If my dog doesn't like somebody, they've turned out to be a shithead. That's 100% of the time. And
again, that's why I'm a dog person. Cats don't give a shit about anybody.
Oh, God, can you imagine? How would they vet somebody? It looks like
they don't.
They would knock a glass over to try and tell you. They're like, that guy sucks.
I don't like you.
Yeah, you're going. Yeah,
bye.
You got to go.
See ya. Bye, Felicia.
Bye. That's it. That's what they say. If cats had the ability to speak all of human languages. The first word would be
Felicia.
That's all they'd say is bye, Felicia. They'd just say bye, Felicia. No, there's this great thing on Reddit. We talked about Reddit earlier. Did we talk about it on the podcast? No, just outside. There's this great little like subreddit or whatever where they show cats. Well, there's one where they show cats standing up, and that's one of my favorites. So
they do this little like cute little.
It looks like a human, and there's some of them that even like walk forward or whatever. And there's one where they show cats being dicks or whatever, and so they're knocking shit off. And the other one is like pet don't pet. So like. You ever had like a cat who's like comes up and like try, but the second you start to pet them, they bite the shit out of you. It's like no, I meant don't pet me. Like they're like pet me. They're like no, I didn't mean pet me. And like oh, but pet me.
Too much.
Yeah. So
what would be a cat's safe word?
Bye, Felicia. Yeah, it's just bye, Felicia. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We're gonna grab a little libation and sit outside for a minute, and then we will finish the podcast up. This is Artless Nap.
At gmail.com.
Welcome back to Artless Nap. Artless Nap. If you like naps, probably one of the better shows as far as naps goes. The ability to sleep while listening to it. I am Anthony Pago, and we have Brande Sanders, who is not related to Bernie Sanders.
Or am I?
You might be.
I might be.
Have you done one of those genetic tests?
No, but I want to.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think you'd find out? Like, what's your expectation? You're part Native American.
That I'm equally mutt.
You mutt? Mm-hmm. Do you think there's Native American in you?
So the joke would be, do I want more?
Right. Yeah. Do you want a little in you? Like, do you have a little Native American in you?
And do you want some?
Do you want some? Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I feel like anybody that has roots in Oklahoma has some sort of connection, whether it be less than 1%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are surprised when they do get it back. Like, oh, I was told I was Italian for 90 years, and now I find out that I'm really Eastern European.
Right.
That's the problem, is that we really don't know most people really don't know.
Yeah, some people are like legit balls to the wall, have to record everything about their family and like do a good job of preserving it. But
who does that?
Not very many people.
know.
Some do. We got like when my dad died, he's Native American, he's Chippewa, and we went up to Michigan to go, and they lost his ashes, and we had to sit there and like, sing over a helmet from the New York Fire Department because he helped the New York Fire Department replace a 9/11 truck that got crushed. So that was, at least something like interesting and good to like, sing over, whatever. But we had like very, very elderly Native American women who spoke the original language, like originally, and then were talking to us in the Michigan Native American white person accent, which is really a weird combination. And
Yeah, I can imagine.
and they pulled out these
Do
like
they say pop?
they do say pop, yeah. Some. Oh, well, they say. I think they say soda. No, they say pop. They say pop. Yeah. I remember calling into like tribal clerk or whatever up in Michigan and be like, oh, it's Tony Pigo, and I'm like, Pego. That's what my dad called us. Like, damn it.
Is that your Michigan accent right there?
Yeah. Oh. So how you doing? Oh, everything going okay? How's your family? I'm horrible
That's
at accents.
terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad. What was the point? So we were in Michigan and the funeral and my dad and gosh, I can't remember. We were talking about the old lady, the old ladies came up with some lineage for us, and they had written on this I don't know how they got paper this big, but it was it was like if you took.
Did it have the Declaration of Independence on it?
It was almost like meat paper, from the 1910s or 20s or something. Like it wasn't even waxed yet. It was just like old, large paper you wrapped shit in or something, and it was that old. It was yellowed from age and stuff, and they just had names written on it all over, and they had lines connecting all. It wasn't written chronologically or by familial relations. It was just kind of all written out, and then it kind of connected in places. And it was and the writing, because English wasn't there. They probably didn't write when they first were born and went through their formative years. The writing was, and they're old. You get a little shaky and stuff. So you add that stuff through the years. Only the old people really add stuff to that. So there was multiple handwritings, if I remember correctly, but most of it was this one woman's, and it was unreadable. And I wish we had had time to sit there and have her dictate to us each of the letters of the names, but it would have taken all day. And so there's it's a wonderful thing to have, but there's no I can't discern this. I can't figure out what my lineage is based on this family.
At least you have that though.
No, it's incredible, and I'm very thankful that she did that.
Most people don't. I kind of went through that journey with my family where I wanted to who am I? Where am I going? Where did I come from? And I got 16 different stories from So yeah, it's a mystery.
What do you feel like?
Well, I have to wax my upper lip.
So you feel very.
That'd be Greek.
The hairy peoples.
Hairy. That would be maybe Italian or.
I'm just wondering what people need a hairy, warmer upper lip. Is that
I feel it's. Well.
People who sailed the cold seas and
maybe
conquered and stuff.
What if I'm a Viking?
You could be a Viking.
Yes. I mean, I've got the skin for it.
They found. I think this is in contention. There are some archaeological digs that they think may have been misread, but there are some archaeologists who are proponents of the idea that women were exactly as important as the men as far as being leaders and stuff.
I concur.
Yeah, you believe it?
Oh yeah.
Good. Well, I see your mustache growing thicker right now.
Shut your face. You shut your mouth.
So the opposite side of lineage, culture. Tell me about your culture. We laughed a little bit about mine outside there. What was your culture as a kid? How'd you I could see maybe being a Southern Baptist girl raised in a screamy fire and brimstone. No, none of that.
I grew up with 2 old hippies.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did the hippies teach you?
Well, I became pretty independent very young because, I don't know if it was a nurturing. I wasn't very nurtured.
You weren't nurtured.
Well,
See, it's
maybe that's the wrong word.
laissez-faire hippies who were hands off,
No, my mom is. Trust me, my mom is very hands on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. My culture, you go to the nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
I believe that people are who they are because that's who they're supposed to be. I mean, you can kind of cultivate somebody, but I don't know that I would be any different if I was raised in a different environment.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess my experience, I took away all those variables. Like, I left too early as a teen and kind of...
Oh, that's the Okie in you right there.
Right? Yeah. I let the machinery raise itself, which gives me no data as far as whether nurture would have fixed some of the freakouts and, made me a more well-rounded human being or whatever. I don't know whether the cities raised me and did things that would have happened anyway through correct parenting, or if I became a totally unique person because of the environments that...
That's who you were supposed to be.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Well...
And I'm sure there'll be a lot of disagreement with that, but...
You got nothing but agreement. I wouldn't want to have to raise hellions that are like me.
But your kids are going to be who... They would have been who they are just because that's what they were meant to be.
Right.
I mean... you think about people that were raised in a certain way and they've, come to terms with it and they've accomplished things. And then you have people that are raised with a lot of money and a lot of resources that turn out terrible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but what about, everybody knows, you have, the classic stripper names,
Brande?
If you name somebody... So have you hit the pole?
I have never hit the pole.
Yeah,
have you seen me dance?
Have you wanted to? Have you been drawn to the pole?
No.
No?
I mean, if I had a wipey first, maybe.
A what? A wipey?
You gotta wipe that pole down first.
We can use a specific name of a product called the Republic of Tea Hibiscus Sunflower Tea.
My new favorite thing, and that's not a lie.
This is the most amazing thing whatsoever. So I'm used to having conversations like this because I work for Wine and Palette, and Wine and Palette is like the Kleenex of tissues. Sorry, Wine and Palette is like the Kleenex of the paint and sip. Like
the Q-tip, but it's really just a...
What is that, cotton swab?
Cotton swab, thank you.
Swab, yeah.
Glad you jumped in there.
Have you noticed that cotton swabs have gotten so chintzy? They're like cheaping out on the amount of cotton they're putting on the outside.
I poked my brain out just this morning.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
Terrible.
How good do you remember?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
All right, so we're going to do our top 5 favorite products.
Top 5 favorite Well, today, I dig tea. I've always been a big tea person.
We got the Republic of Tea, sunflower tea.
So that's in the running. Top 5. Ivory soap. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, one of mine is we have these covers that we put on the porch for people who come to Artless Nap and drink and stuff, and it's like...
Yeah, and it also helps with anxiety because this twists a little bit.
Right. So it's like silicone. Silicone is what you make computers out of. Silicone. It's like the the heat resistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you can order it off of Amazon, and I fucking love them.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Flies don't get into your drink, and they look
I mean, I
pretty.
needed a little extra protein today, but...
The best thing about them, the colors. So you can remember whose drink is what.
It's the new wine charm.
Uh-huh. The wine charm. So remember the cell phone, little charm things, like little chains and stuff. You didn't do that? I didn't do that.
Or toe rings.
Toe rings?
So I don't know that I could, off the fly, come up with my most favorite things. I can tell you what I hate.
Sure, let's go into it.
Toe rings.
Yeah, number 1. Or number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah, so you're not adverse to facial piercings. I know
No.
that's like a big deal for some people.
Well, that was kind of by accident.
Oh, you accidentally got pierced in the face?
Really, I mean, as you see, I'm not wearing earrings.
Uh-huh.
So,
how do you fall into a nose piercing?
So my kids one day was like, hey, we should go do nose rings together. It'll be like a bonding experience. And I'm okay.
You got peer pressured by your kid into a
I
nose
got
ring?
peer pressured by my kids, yes.
How did it feel? Was that... I imagine getting punched in the face?
Yeah.
Really?
And then you cry a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's just...
It's not an emotional release.
No, no.
Yeah. How did you feel afterwards? How long did it take for you to take the bull by the horns, so to speak?
Well, see, that's the problem. I feel like a bull sometimes.
Uh-huh. That's not a bad thing.
Because of the piercing.
That's not a bad thing. I'm sure there are some subreddits about that, too. Just like people who feel like bulls when they dress up like bulls. You ever thought about that? You ever done like the...
I don't do bull porn, no.
No, okay, so we've talked a little bit about fetishes. I guess we can call them that. Like, you know, just... okay, let's get real talk here. Sex ed. So, we were talking about in the last podcast that terminologies change, right?
Right.
Language changes and everything. So fetish today is like, it means something different than it used to mean. And the reason why is because of porn. Porn changes everything, by the way. Formats for delivering video have changed because porn adopters preferred or bought most of their content.
You know a lot about porn, I'm just saying.
I do. So like VHS, I think, was one of the examples of that. Like more porn was sold, you know, because of that. And video codecs for the internet, like, will be selected because the porn sites adopt these video codecs first. And that's what makes like MP4 or whatever more prolific than not. So the word fetish used to mean something, or like should legitimately, literally mean something that you need to have in order to have like sexual fulfillment, or like you're seeking that and getting gratification of some sort, be it mental or physiological or whatever. So fetishes used to have that thing in order to...
Okay. So how's it now?
So now it's like a kind of like an interest, a preference, something that you're into, something that like you really dig. It's like a proclivity, you know.
So I don't know that I have any fetishes, and I'm not informed on this topic.
Right.
So the first thing that I think of is foot.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's probably the most common, maybe?
And that's why you think of it? I don't think it's because it's the most common. I think you immediately went to it.
Are you trying to say I secretly have a foot
You might.
fetish?
Have you ever tried? Have you taken like a clean foot? And
No.
No, you got grossed out. But you know what? Some fetishes do deal with like being so
You want to be
disgusted.
grossed out?
You want to be like, there's lots of, and look, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not laughing at anybody. I'm just saying like, some people enjoy it's degradation. That's a thing. That's like a fetish type thing. We're just going to call everything a fetish now. Like, we're not going by textbook. We're going by, that's a fetish. So like, some people want degradation. Some people...
My fetish is somebody doing the dishes.
No. I think that's like everybody's fetish. I don't have to do shit.
I'm really going to get turned on if you go do those fucking dishes, dude. Seriously. I need it. I need it to get off.
Isn't that just bribery at that point or whatever?
Probably a little bit. But...
Okay, so like, let's get deep here. So do you remember your first time you saw something? Like, was it the Burt Reynolds mustache? Was it like the hairy chest? Or maybe it was a girl. Do you remember the first time you saw something that you were like, whoop, that lit some lights up above?
Ooh.
I'll tell you mine.
Oh, thank you.
So I was at Red Oak Elementary.
Because you just dropped that fucking bomb real quick.
I remember, and I don't think I was like able to, do anything as a sexual performer or anything. I just remember one day sitting at the bus stop, and I had heard sexual banter from kids. Kids don't know shit, but they will repeat, they'll parrot everything. They'll tell sex jokes, they'll call people names that they don't even understand.
They're really the Furbies of the human world.
They really are. Children are the Furbies of the human world. I
Yes.
love it. And I remember sitting at a bus stop at Red Oak, getting ready to go home. Or so it's like the front, you're waiting for your bus, like bus number 35 or whatever. And so we're waiting for it, and a bus opens up. It's not our bus, and girls are loading on, girls we know. And one of the dudes beside me goes, "Look at that butt." And before, I've heard people talk about that, like I'm sure my stepdad or like movies. And I'd seen plenty of like R-rated movies by that point, which was huge for us back then. And
you like this?
Yeah, right? Like just barely peeking out of definitely my fingers. So I remember like kind of thinking, I already know I'm not going to enjoy this, or like you're talking, he's talking bullshit. He's just like he's putting forward bravado. So I was like, whatever, dude. And I looked over, and up in slow motion, it's like the first like instance I remember of like
Did
slow motion.
Dreamweaver come in?
Yeah, totally. There was like Vaseline on the lens, and like there was a butt walking up into like the and it really like it doesn't happen that often. Is now everything's like super fast motion as like an old man, like you have to look at. So that's the first. I remember like a.
So you have a butt fetish?
Well, yeah, it will be triggered like, and it's not a specific like shape. I don't like prefer like I do love big butts, and I cannot lie, but you other brothers also can appreciate like a fit butt, or like there's all
just
sorts of.
Just bounce a quarter off of it.
There's
it's all good.
all sorts of butts. There's all sorts of butts, and it's I'm not necessarily a butt man. I think I would go with, I like all shapes and sizes of the breastises as well. I think it's kind of just a total package. Like if I look at somebody and I go, there's no way I could relate to you. There's no way you'd give me a conversation. Like there's no imagination for me. I can't imagine, the scenes that I want to imagine. But if like I see that they're a person I could relate to, then I appreciate all of those aspects. I'm like, damn girl, look at that shit you got going on,
So mine might be beards.
Beards?
Yeah.
You relate to guys who have beards and you want to have a conversation with their beard for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just that masculine, just essence of a man.
The masculine stuff. So would it matter if they're like, because with testosterone comes balding, does it matter if they're like missing half of their hair but they got a big old beard?
So apparently there's a correlation between that.
Right.
Men that can grow good beards have a chance of going bald a lot sooner.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, you just gotta take it as it is.
Oh, so it's not your preference. So you don't go like, oh, God, you're like, guy, I want to like spit shine that little glossy bald spot up top with my.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a turn off either.
So it's not a turn off.
No.
It's not something you're just like, fine.
Great beard, bald head.
Just
I'm
like,
out. Bye, Felicia.
Can we put a bag over your head? That's the old line, right? Like
just partially.
a partial bag.
Partial bag.
Like cut out the beard spot. No, I think we could sell, if that was a thing, we could sell so many paper bags just with the beard like
what
thing.
What would we call it?
Beard in a bag. Beard in a bag. That's not too bad. We'll work on it.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Any others? You have any other so foot thing jumped out, and I think this is like part of your subconscious, like.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Soft skin. Do you like it when a guy has like rough skin, soft skin? Doesn't matter.
No. I used to think I didn't like body hair, but
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Would you like get sexual pleasure out of like shaving a man?
I don't know, but I'm not gonna like totally discredit that theory.
The way your eyes lit up and you smiled.
I don't know.
I'm starting to think maybe they're the intimate moment, like the trust and the the taking the time to do something for each other.
Yeah, it would take a really special dude.
Oh yeah.
On both sides.
All right. Well, so if you do that,
so if I come up to you like, hey, can I shave you?
Sure, but here's
would
what
you be like, yeah.
Okay. Well, I would judge you based on whether you just showed up with like a Bic and your girl shaving cream, right? Because like if you did that,
so I need to bring my big purse.
No. You need to make this a thing. Like look, if I'm gonna invite you to like a nice dinner or something, I make a big deal about something. I'm like, so, well, let's reduce it to something. You want to try this kink of mine, but like we'll go out to dinner first or whatever, and like we're gonna make it a night. I'm not gonna just throw you into like my weird kink because I want you to be.
You gotta lead up to that.
So you don't even have to lead up to it. Well, you kind of do, but like here's how you do it. You buy those really nice like the beaver fur, old school like. You get the foam
with the actual soap where you have to foam it up.
That's right, and then you take the old straight razor.
What would I wear?
Oh my God! Now you're really starting to I'm starting to get interested. Like I wish I could grow a beard. Now jealousy's setting in. And
it's that Native American blood, dude. It's gonna be splotchy. I'm sorry.
Here's another product. Maybe I can for guys who like miss out on the beard shit. We'll put.
Can we paint the beard on?
Fake beard kits. So like you put the glue.
A beard.
So we'll send people like we gotta have people who donate their beard hair so that people who can't grow beards like me. Yeah, beards for needful men. I don't know, beardless men. Like beards for the beardless.
Oh,
yeah, it's a nice.
It's a nonprofit.
Yeah, you just glue on a beard and you can have a romantic shaving session, or on the back of your, the hair on your back.
I mean, we could just go to all these waxing places and say, hey, can you donate the extra? You said gross.
It's so gross. I found where my fetish lines end.
I think it's funny that I'm the one that presented that line for you.
Yeah.
As conservative as I am on these subjects.
Right. I'm pretty open to a lot of stuff. But yeah, no, I'm not going to roll around with glue on my body around in the floor of a hairstylist.
What's that smell?
I'm itchy.
It's like this perpetual smell of... Yeah. All right. Different subject.
So, no, not different subject. We're going back into fetishes. So, you hadn't heard of hentai. Well, sorry, you didn't know what hentai was, but you
yeah,
why we talked about
Cards
hentai.
Against Humanity.
Right. So, tell the story.
So, I had some friends over, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and a card comes up and I think, what? I don't even know what that is. So upon further review and research, it's tentacle porn.
Right.
And so I didn't know what that was. And with the friends that I circled myself with, knowledgeable people, somebody piped in and said, oh, it's this, it's, what just what it sounds like, tentacle porn.
Yeah.
And so I have an octopi, whatever, tattoo. And once I got that, anytime somebody was out somewhere and thought, if they saw octopus, they thought of me. So it's like the, it's my precious moments.
Ah, that's your figurine.
It's my figurine. So everybody buys me art that's in relation to that. So I have a lot of it in my house.
So, like, people put roosters up in their kitchen, and you just have, like, a big old tentacle, like...
Yeah, so as I'm saying, like, yeah, I don't really know what that is. Everybody's kind of looking around my house like, really? Do you not know what this is? But I don't, for the record.
So I have, like, a little bit of historical knowledge on some of this.
I am not surprised.
Yeah, so you have no knowledge. You have no knowledge about, like, the tentacle. Well, you have some now.
I do now.
But you've seen, like, these old drawings from the Japanese culture? Have you seen
Well,
those?
I saw kind of more of the anime version of it.
So that's the modern one. So that's, like, Japanime. And the subcategory of the Japanime is the hentai. So hentai is the Japanese porn segment that's, like, super illegal. And traditionally, they like to think of it as, like, poor people's porn, or, like, the poor people watch this. But here's why it doesn't work that way. So there's this guy named Hakusai. So Hakusai, I know
you really know a lot about this shit.
I really do. So Hakusai was adopted by his uncle, okay? I'm going to take you way back to, like, when they still had, like, the samurai, and, this is feudal Japan, and, there's classes. There's classes still, but, like, this is, like, hyper classic, like, Japan, classes of people. And he couldn't get a good paying job unless he was adopted by a part of his family that had, more prowess or whatever. And so his uncle adopted him, and I don't know what happened to his father, a drunk or whatever the fuck, just too poor or whatever. And his uncle was like a master printer. And so he learned, like, he was fascinated. I think he might have worked his way into getting adopted because he was interested in printing and stuff. So Hakusai is a famous artist that you all know. So, do you remember the paintings or, like, the posters? Like, lots of college kids have them, where you have the big great wave coming. It's like the classic Japanese, like, weird crawly, and there's even filters on, like, like image editing apps now that, like, can change your image into lots of small versions of this, like, great wave painting or whatever. There's an old famous painting that has a big great wave coming over in a little boat beneath it, and there's, like, Mount Fuji in the background. It's the classic Japanese printing thing. So
I feel like there's a proverb that would tie into this.
There's lots of proverbs that would fit into this. So the Hakusai was a great printer who created these great pieces of artwork, and he was doing block carving. So the way they did printing back then was they would carve into wood, and then they would rub, the paper over the ink that's on the wood, and it would pull out your print or whatever. And it was a specific size. It was kind of landscape, like we prefer videos now in, like, the wide version. It's like HD wide version. It was like HD wide version for them. Nobody had like prints this large. Nobody had had prints, really. It was all kind of original artwork, and all of a sudden people could, like, buy prints and stuff. And so this Hakusai, like, wood print, block print, wood block print type technology stuff was, like, the favorite version of, I'm missing him now, Van Gogh. So Van Gogh's, like, broad sweeping strokes and his weird, kind of blocky interpretive shit came from the Hakusai, directly from Hakusai, his printing style, what he would carve into the wood and stuff. What Hakusai did outside of using the printing press to create his really large prints was to create these really small porn booklets. It was the first time that these little porn booklets...
His, what is it called? Not Grindhouse.
Sort of. Yeah, what are the small zines? It's like a little zine.
That's what I'm thinking of.
So yeah, they're like, think of it that way then. So these little porn zines, previously, all of the tentacle porn and like the weird erotic Japanese stuff, it comes from their cultures, and I don't remember exactly where the tentacle porn comes from. They were seafaring people, so there's probably kind of like, English, like have mermaids and stuff like that. It's probably some mythologies from that. But they, only the rich people would have like these very ornate, usually kind of like tablature kind of versions of this like erotica. And all of a sudden,
what you're saying is I have a bougie fetish.
well, you have a comic,
wait, I really don't.
because Hakusai created the first version of like comic books with porn in it available to the poor people. So Hakusai, outside of creating some of the most fantastic, like most expensive artwork in the world to date, he also created these really raunchy little porn comic books that like you could go into an alleyway and buy from a vendor. And they
on
were
the down low, right?
Hugely popular, and it changed all of the culture in all of Japan. And it's the reason we have anime and hentai and stuff, because it did feature some of like all of the mythologies of like porn.
So what
stuff.
other type of fetishes did he?
I'm not sure what else there was. I do know that there was there's some sort of, oh gosh, I can't even go into this. There's some ghost figure. Yeah, I'll have to research that. We'll throw in some links down at the bottom to get you into like the Japan like weird
Gee, thanks.
realms. We'll make you read up for our next podcast or whatever.
Deal.
Yeah. So that's fetishes. We've got fetishes covered. What do you give me a little bit of your political knowledge? What are your interests now? Did you vote for marijuana?
I did.
You did.
Even though I don't weed.
Right.
But I do feel like there is a need.
Yeah.
Medically.
Right.
I did have the experience of the attendants or whatever you call them not offer me that ballot without me initiating it. So I did. Again, I'm not confrontational, but that was something that I got a little confrontational about. Right. I try to be politically informed to an extent because I feel like it's important. Yeah. And I especially feel like it's important here. Right. Because I'm hopeful that there's going to be a shift, but it's going to take a lot more than me. So I try to advocate for that as well. Right.
We have a really low voting number. So it really, all it takes.
I was the youngest person, and I'm 29, so pretty young. And in my 42 years of experience.
And 29 years old.
Yeah, 29 years old. I was the youngest person by a couple of decades. Really? So, I do feel like as woke, we didn't talk about that.
No, phrases that kids use now and like what's too unhip to use now these days.
Hip, that might be a word that. Yeah. I mean, it's groovy and everything, but I feel totally rad that I did go vote. It was bitching. I do feel like there is a disconnect with the young voters. Yeah. Like they want to have a word, they want to have their say, and they want to have a presence, but we don't educate how to vote.
Right. I did hear something surprising on a little podcast where they were saying some people, and I never felt this way, but some people feel like signing up to vote might be as complex as like getting your social security card again or something, where you have to like go and sit down and wait and like fill out that.
It's pretty easy.
You can do it online in 2 minutes.
I vote when I registered to vote when I turned, and I was 18. I was pretty stoked about being able to have this voice. Yeah. I registered as an independent because I didn't know any better.
I did the same thing. No, I did the same thing.
I didn't know, like I didn't feel like I was Republican. I didn't feel like I was Democrat. I was like, oh, this is the
So the middle. You registered honestly, which is like pretty admirable.
But it also kind of hindered me for a long time.
You couldn't vote in primaries.
And that's why, everybody got mad at me. Well, not everybody. I got a little bit of backlash because I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote for Hillary either. Right. But I wanted that 2% so we could vote in the primaries, right? Right. So I had to kind of make that decision, but I wasn't real excited about Hillary either.
Right. And now, independents, just to let anybody know, like, now as an independent, you can vote for a Democrat in the primaries.
Right.
But the Republicans have not agreed to that yet. You cannot vote for a Republican as an independent in the primaries.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're laws, right?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't you do that? Well, we will improve the system here by voting. The only way, look, if you're going to complain, not you, but the royal, like, you, we, whatever, if we're going to complain about voting, or, like, if we're going to complain about politics or just the general state of the world, and you haven't registered to vote, and you haven't done these things,
then say shut up.
I'm not saying you have to, like, knock on a door. I'm not saying you have to drive 3 friends to, like, register and vote and stuff. But, like, God damn it.
But there are resources for that. There are people that offer, like, if you do not have transportation.
I didn't know this. So
go
you can
vote?
get driven.
I think at the last session, Lyft was offering discounts for people to go register or to go vote.
Okay.
So, and if you are not living in 1960 and you're part of social media, there are always people that say, hey, if you're in this area and you need to vote, reach out to me and, I will provide transportation.
Right.
So that's,
Well, if you were to run as a candidate, what would your platforms be?
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That's a good one.
Well, damn it, you're just dropping a lot of bombs on me right now.
I'm sorry.
I would say, if you really want change, it's not going to be one person.
Right.
And one person's not going to come and fix this stuff. So I would have to. Here's the thing about me being involved in the community a little bit more than I have been ever in my life. Mm-hmm. I've met a lot of candidates for political office.
Yeah.
I've never met an official politician.
Right, like active. A senator,
like
a representative.
Once it's all once they've made it, they don't reach out to the community like they should.
So you think there should be the same level of integration, communication after they've been elected?
Yeah, I feel like there's a disconnect there.
I agree with you. I agree. Town halls are a good way to do that, and I'm not trying to just bash on Republicans, but Republicans don't seem to like town halls these days. They don't want questions to be asked. They want moderated questions,
Right.
Town halls are just like the community gets to, like, sit there and ask you what the fuck ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of the contentious environment we have now in politics, everybody, the people who are preserving the status quo, feel accosted anytime somebody walks up to them. And I don't suggest that's wrong, because we're in such a tumultuous time that everybody's kind of freaked out.
Right.
And if you don't have the balls to sit there and discuss, frankly, the reality of today, what the fuck are you doing representing the people?
Yeah.
Why would you not be able to sit there?
At that point, you're not representing the people.
No. You're going to go back to your office and listen to the people who you have pre-approved to...
Yeah, there should be no yes people in office.
I agree with you.
You've said that twice.
How does it make you feel? Is that a fetish?
I feel pretty freaking awesome right now. I feel pretty rad and bitchin'.
That's got to be a fetish. Just have, like, a dude sit there and agree with everything you say. And
Yes.
Like,
is that a thing?
I'm so turned on right
that
now.
That might be the one.
We finally found your fetish.
We found it.
With that, this is Artless Nap. This is Brande Sanders. I am Anthony Pago. Thank you for listening.
Fist bump.